Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes, and also with Fanart Friday.
Fanart Friday.
I've had a few people send in images to your email address in the description below, and I think a couple to mine as well.
Yep, some very talented people sending some art my way.
Yes, and my way.
Yeah.
So don't try to take all the credit.
Well, if they send it to me, it's more likely to be seen.
It is. My
Your
email
email
it just is a mess. I get lots of emails, lots of spam, So if you've ever emailed me, as I always say, and I don't respond, it's probably because I missed it. All right, so let's get to the news and the fan art.
Yep, you'll see scrolling across your screen. We're just going to have some art going throughout this video. But onto the article we're talking about today. Obi-Wan composer Natalie Holt kind of talks about the score and building on John Williams' new theme for Kenobi. Hollywood Reporter interviewed Natalie Holt about her musical interpretation of the Star Wars universe and what it's like to work with John Williams. She talks about how, as a violinist herself and someone who loves orchestral sounds, it was a chance for her to pay homage to John Williams. It's kind of a collaboration with the history of Star Wars and his new theme and bringing a bit of modern to it. There are some lovely violin solos as well, and as a violinist, I'm sure she very much enjoyed creeping those in.
So is this implied to be more like a John Williams score then? Are we kind of paying homage to Williams by doing a more traditional Star Wars score as compared to like Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian?
I think the way she's discussing it, she's saying that she's going to definitely include that, but she's also going to take her own spin, so it's going to be a combination.
Because I'm assuming the John Williams Kenobi theme will be classic John Williams Star Wars-esque music, and then building from that. I mean, I'm all for other... I've kind of grown used to some of the different music that we've been getting lately.
Well, we know she likes synthesizer and things. I mean, she did the Loki score, which was kind of out there and very bizarre, so we're going to see an entirely different side of her, I'm assuming, for this, because synthesizer crazy isn't exactly Star Wars. I mean, it is a little bit, but...
I can't hear the word synthesizer and not think like movies from like the 70s and 80s, like sci-fi movies that have that really weird kind of synthesizer, where Star Wars kind of... speaking of that, that's what kind of flipped the script with sci-fi, right? Star Wars did this kind of operatic, grandiose score and just kind of really changed the whole genre of sci-fi, in my opinion.
Right. Well, continuing on, Deborah Chow even told her it's about finding the tone and the balance of Star Wars that the Star Wars that we've known, and then doing something fresh and a bit more of your own identity within it, leaving your own mark. She talks about the struggles she had early on within the episodes, in that it was around episode 4 that Holt felt she had a flow going, and Deborah was finally just going, "Yep, great," with hardly any notes back. Before that, she was saying, "Oh, it's too old-fashioned," or "That's not working." So she found her stride as she went.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how I imagine that's how it works for authors.
I wonder what that is. Well, yeah,
Well, maybe it was too traditional Star Wars. Maybe they were like, it's going a little too...
Yeah, I didn't think she meant like old-fashioned music. I was hoping she meant like kind of old-fashioned start. Maybe too much like John Williams.
Maybe too much.
No, I think any artist can get into a flow and then can just as quickly hit a kind of wall. Mm-hmm. I think that works for music, writing, any kind of art, probably.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes, when I'm drawing or if I decided I want to do anything with paint, you stare at the canvas for a long time.
Yeah, I've stared at a blank computer screen a lot of times in my life when trying to write something.
But then sometimes you get moving and then you're like, there's your vision. There it is.
There's times when I'm writing and you'll come in and say something, I'll just kind of like, not now.
All right, as to working with John Williams, well, he has a busy schedule, so they didn't really collaborate because he was so busy. Apparently, he was kind of like last minute as to whether or not he would even have his theme done on time.
What is he doing?
He's a busy man.
I hope when I'm 90, I'm as busy as John Williams is.
But he really wanted to write it, as this was his one character he didn't write the original, a theme for in the original movies.
Yes, became the Force theme.
Right. He had 2 weeks, and he came on board. He wrote the Obi-Wan theme and a suite, which is the main title, and then a few variants, variations of how the Obi-Wan theme can work. So 2 weeks, he gave you a theme, the show's theme, and then he went back to the theme and was like, and here's a couple of different ways you can work this.
I would expect no less from the master. Even at 90. Get it done, John. No, I'm kidding.
Gee.
I mean, I'm in awe of what he does. I mean, at that age, that is incredible.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, even 30, 40, 50 years younger, getting 2 weeks to do that, I have to imagine is a lot.
Once Holt had the theme, she used it as like the tent poles for the whole project. Early in the project, Holt was actually writing Obi-Wan's theme with direction from Deborah because John Williams hadn't come on board and been like, give me 2 weeks.
He's busy doing other things.
Right, so early on, she was actually writing the theme herself. I'm actually really interested if they'd release it. I want to know what hers sounded like.
I wonder if he took any inspiration from what she was doing or he just completed his own thing.
Well, here's what Deborah's direction was on the theme Holt was writing. It was, he's in the desert, he's lost, and he's been alone. It was like anything for his theme would just be small, crumbling, fragmented, and thin. Then it would grow as he goes on this journey. I find this process actually incredibly interesting.
I've always wondered how much, direction they get. I mean, how much direction do you give a John Williams compared to like a newer composer? Like, do you just like, when John Williams is going to score a Star Wars movie, just kind of hand it off, like, do your thing, John? Or is there a lot of kind of back end? I'm sure there is to some degree. I'm not saying just because you're John Williams, you get to just do whatever you want. But I'm really curious to how that process works. Kind of the back and forth between the director
right?
and the composer.
Well, what's interesting is when she worked on Loki, it was just at the beginning of the pandemic. So she had a lot of extra time to work on the project. So, of course, now that she's working on a project that's not under those constraints, she's like, oh my gosh, the time, where did it go? Why don't I have the extra time? Because she sort of, in a weird way, it was to her benefit to have that time.
Well, sure. I mean, in a weird sort of way, I'm sure the pandemic allowed a lot of people time to do things they've probably been wanting to do for years or just extra time. Then life kind of hopefully slowly goes back to normal here as it has been. And where does that time go?
Mm-hmm. Well, Holt went on to write musical themes for the different planets we're going to see. She also wrote a new Stormtrooper theme. We have never had a Stormtrooper theme. We've had Imperial March, which is just...
Is it just like blaster bolts pinging off walls?
Who knows? I'm really interested because I have a soft spot for...
You love your Stormtrooper. You are Empire through and through. Darth Vader, Stormtroopers. You love your new trooper designs. I don't like Sidious, but... Well,
I think Vader should just be in charge.
Yeah, well, that's what he wanted, too. That was the plan. He tried to get Padme on board, and she was like, nah.
So I'm actually very interested to hear what her Stormtrooper theme is going to sound like. She also said, it's not always straight-up orchestral music in the soundtrack. She did go back to her roots, and she did use some synth elements.
Oh, boy.
As well as some unusual instruments. Like, she used a Swedish folk flute. She also stated, and this is the first time I've heard it, that she used a hunting horn. I imagine it's going to be super interesting.
Why do I immediately think like Inquisitor theme when I hear just the word hunting horn sounds Inquisitor to me?
I feel like it could be, and I feel like that's really cool.
Sure, I'm eager.
I like bringing unique things to Star Wars. It helps them stand out in your head.
Yeah, don't be too unique. I don't want it to stand out too much, but yeah, okay.
All right, so after reading everything that Holt had to say, I can definitely say for certain I cannot wait to hear what both she and John Williams bring to Kenobi.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like we've discussed before, this is probably the last John Williams we will ever get in Star Wars.
We say that, and then we say that again, and then we say that
He's
again.
probably working on the Ahsoka theme right now, or some Mando Season 3, or who knows what he's doing right now.
He didn't do anything for Mando.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He came back for Obi-Wan. Because of
Obi-Wan. It's a
Obi-Wan.
legacy character.
Yeah.
So it was something that meant something special to him.
That's cool. Like I said, I'm super impressed at 90 years old to be too busy to even squeeze in some work on Kenobi, but he found the time, of course.
Of course. And
like you said, I can't wait to hear what I can't wait for this series. Every time I think about it, I cross my fingers and say, please just be good all around. Please. But anyway, I guess that's all we've got for you this time. So thanks again to those who sent your artwork in, and you can do the same. You can send it to Sailor Naboo's email address in the description below. And so leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.